Hey there. So recently I went to a picnic and a friend of mine brought a picture of me from when I was in high school. She was showing it to my son, showing it around to some of the other friends that were there, people who remember me from high school. And what struck me about this picture was how much I have changed over the years. Just looking at the picture itself, it's me standing there in a shell-only jacket, popular in the late '80s. Uh, I had a black and gray shirt on underneath with the collar and standing up and everything, and I had my hair all stylized, kind of, over in one big giant wave, and I was standing there, and had this look of myself. It was senior portraits, so we had a professional there saying, "Hey, now stand like this." It was a lot of fun back then. It was enjoyable. But today, I want to talk to you about changes. All right? Changes happen over time. That time can be a millisecond. That time can be 10, 15, 20 years. And how you measure those changes is kind of important. All right? Let's say you're coming through and you get a breakthrough. All right? Mind blown. Breakthrough. That change was in a second. You had one concept and belief, and you moved into another concept and belief in a millisecond. Now, it may have taken years for you to grow as a person, to expand your own intelligence, concepts, and ideas in order to have that breakthrough that took a millisecond. It may take you a very long time to become the person you need to be to get that breakthrough. But these changes happen, and they happen for a reason. They happen because we're growing, because we're always expanding. The question you have to ask yourself, and the question that really came to my mind when I saw that photograph of myself and remembered who I was in high school, who that person represented, what it was that I wanted for myself and the people around me at the time, how those things have changed over the progressive years. When I look at that time period and the differences between then and now, I see a huge gap and difference between who I was, who I became, and who I am now. I don't see a specific instance where, just like that, I said, "Hey, I'm going to be completely different," and changed overnight. What happened was I grew as a person. I had life experiences come through. I had changes that came into my life. I had my son. I got married. I had a wonderful, wonderful life. It's not over. Changes happen. And as a progression of life, as a movement through time, I can look at myself in a picture and realize who I was back then and know that even though that person was so different, so completely, insanely different from who I am now, it's still me. It's a memory of me. It's who I was in the past. Regardless of what I was doing back then, who I was back then, where I went, the parties that I explored, the concepts in my mind, the things that I did, those are memories of the past. Good or bad, they're memories. What I carry forward, what I see in my life, moving forward into the rest of my life, what I carry through, that determines who I become. So if I had a bad experience in my history, a bad experience that should have, made me a horrible, horrible person, or reacted to the world as if it was a horrible place, if I carry that forward, I carry that memory of an action or an event forward. An event that has no business being in the future. If something wonderful happened in my life, if something incredible happened in my life, and I had countless of these things happen, and I carried that forward, I'm carrying an event with me. I'm holding this thing, even though it's a good thing, it's still a chip on my shoulder. And I can't do that. You can't do that either. You need to leave the past in the past. learn from, experience from, and move forward. It's important that if something happens, let's say you mess up on something and you kick yourself. Well, go ahead, kick yourself. Tell yourself, I shouldn't have done that. This is how I should do it differently. Key. Breakthrough. This is how I should do it differently. Carry that forward. Carry the lesson forward. Don't carry the event. Don't get a chip on your shoulder. Only carry the good positive things, the good lessons. Something went bad, you carry forward what you learned from that. Something went great, you carry forward what you learned from that. Carry forward the life lessons. Build your life into a positive experience of lessons, knowledge, and experience. But don't carry the events. Don't latch on to something and say, this defines who I am. Because it doesn't define who you are. It's an event in the past. It may define that one moment in time, and the memory may be strong. But changes happen. They happen every millisecond. They happen every month, every year, every decade. We're constantly changing. And if we latch on to things, you won't be able to move as fast, as far, and as free as you possibly can. Live your life, live your experience, live. Thank you very much. I'll see you again soon.